Warriors, my friends, my extended family, welcome to another episode of the Anxiety Guy podcast. I'm Dennis Simsek, and if this is your first time joining us on this podcast, I want to say welcome. Welcome to your extended family, this family that is committed to self-growth, that is committed to anxiety healing, that is committed to finding inner peace once and for all. Welcome. And thank you for all your testimonials when it comes to my programs. My friends, I couldn't be more grateful and joyful that you are on this healing path. If you want to learn more about any of my programs, head over to theanxietyguy.com today and start your healing journey. And my friends, it can be very confusing in the era of information overload that we are in right now to figure out what we need to do. What do we need to do in order to reach that goal that we have? And that goal isn't something that we should feel like we are fighting for. When I'm talking about inner peace, of course. I'm talking about this pull away from a world of constant stress, anxiousness, physiological reactions to perceived threats that aren't really threats. This world of anxiety, this pull away from anxiety and towards a place of inner freedom. It should feel like you are being guided rather than you are forcing. And today what I want to do is I want to pinpoint a couple of very important aspects of this inner healing journey that I believe everyone needs to partake in. And when you partake in these aspects of healing, and you structure your healing based on what it is I'm about to talk about today, then you are actually going to make progress. Many times, when we commit ourselves to something, we get this elated feeling like this is going to happen. This is it, right? I'm going to do this. I'm going to commit for 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, a week. And I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it out of anxiety, and I'm going to make it into inner peace and freedom. And when we have those commitments consciously, many times we have this feeling within us, this feeling of doubt, this feeling of, are you sure you can do that? Or this feeling of, hey, this is new and it's too new. Well, I want you to understand that just because you have that feeling doesn't mean you have to fall in line with the beliefs around that feeling. Okay? Your inner child may be hesitant towards taking on a new journey away from anxiety and towards inner peace. We must be respectful towards that part of us. We must understand the protectiveness that comes with being an inner child. And you don't have to believe everything you feel. You don't have to believe everything you react to. You don't have to believe even what you think about sometimes. Many times we feel like just because I feel it, I have to move in line with it. No, you don't, right? Doubt is a very common reaction to change, right? And just because doubt is there in any form doesn't mean you have to follow it. Having said that, let's get into these 3 aspects that you need to focus on in order to find inner peace, in order to overcome anxiety. Aspect number 1 is unconscious learning. Unconscious learning. Please pay attention to these aspects. When I'm talking about unconscious learning, I'm talking about recognizing within you and the structure in your healing that says, I am doing some kind of unconscious learning each and every day. Unconscious learning can come down to meditation. Meditation can teach you a lot of things, right? Meditation can bring you a tremendous amount of clarity. Meditation in itself many times doesn't heal an anxiety disorder, but it does bring us to a place of deeper clarity and different perceptions that can lead to healing an anxiety disorder. So meditation is within that area of unconscious learning. Okay? That's number 1. Number 2 is hypnotic exercises such as reframing. And when I say hypnotic exercises, I want you to know that we're always in trance anyway. Okay? We're never not in trance. Right now, you're listening to this, you're in a trance. You're driving to work, you're in a trance. You're at work, you're communicating with people, you're tranced up. So, the idea with anxiety sufferers isn't to pull them into another trance, it's to get them out of their fearful anxiety trance that they are in. Okay? And so when we talk about these hypnotic exercises such as reframing, you could go on YouTube and do my reframing playlist. We're talking about something that speaks to the subconscious mind. We're talking about communicating with your own inner child. This is what this first aspect of healing is about, unconscious learning, okay? And finally, within this aspect of unconscious learning, we can also apply affirmations during sleep time. Did you know that you can learn a tremendous amount during sleep time? Right? I mean, I used to put on affirmations all night long. Woke up in the morning, I said, well, this isn't working. Well, how did I know it wasn't working? I didn't know. I was so quick to judge the things that I was working on that judgment kept me away from my progress. So, yes, while you're in a sleep state, you're still learning. While you're in a sleep state, your subconscious mind and body are still picking up on data. Okay, it's still picking up on words, it's picking up on sounds, it's picking up on movements within your environment. There's still a lot of learning that can be done during sleep. So in this first aspect of healing that you must apply each and every day, we're talking about unconscious learning. I want you to truly understand this aspect, unconscious learning. Okay? Unconscious learning many times makes us feel like there isn't any progress being made. Don't allow that feeling to turn into a belief. Okay? There is so much learning and change that's happening within unconscious learning. There's so much release in suppressed emotion that happens later on after unconscious learning that occurs. So let's respect this aspect. Very powerful and very essential. The second aspect, aside from unconscious learning, is cognitive learning. Okay? This application, again, must be a part of each and every day in my book. Studying content like this and note-taking, that would be cognitive learning. Okay? Reading books and reviewing them, that would be cognitive learning. Thinking rather than reacting, that would be cognitive learning, right? A lot of people think that when they react, they're actually thinking, when in fact that's false. When you're reactive, right, you're just going back to your animal instincts, okay? We are animals that can actually think. This is what separates us from the animals out there. So because we can think, we must understand that this is a skill set that must be developed. We haven't thought in a very long time if, in fact, an anxiety disorder has been a part of your life for years. We are just learning how to think for ourselves, not to think in line with our own subconscious mind inner child. No, that's not thinking, that's reactiveness. Not to think in line with our parents and their beliefs. No. That's not thinking for ourselves. We are just starting to learn how to think for ourselves, and this is good. So we've got unconscious learning, we've got cognitive learning, and finally we've got this physiological, verbal, and behavioral application. This is the application part of things, okay? For example, you can't do a reframing process, okay, release a ton of suppressed emotion, and then go back into your anxiety identity again. You cannot have that happen in your life, okay? It's kind of like role-playing. And I want you to understand that you can be any identity you want to be at any time in your life. Everybody feels like they need to be one kind of person. No. Heck no. In fact, that's not fun. Right? You can be anybody you want to in any given situation. That's up to you. So the question is, in order for me to reach my goals, my inner goals, who do I need to be now? And in this third application, we're talking about body language, okay? Body language, hand gestures, facial expressions, posture, breathing patterns, okay? What's going on with your body as you're going through the day? Okay? As you're going through the day, what kind of vocabulary are you using? How are you speaking to other people? How are you speaking to yourself? What words are you using consistently? Words like try, deleted, eliminated. Okay? We don't use that word here. Hope, we don't use those words. As well, yes, in the behavioral sense, there's this option that we have. Either you can flood yourself with the very thing you fear, or you can create some kind of a systematic approach to what it is you fear. But at some point, you step out of your comfort zone and you step into discomfort. Okay? It shouldn't be too uncomfortable, though. This is something we need to understand when it comes to exposure work. It shouldn't be so uncomfortable. It shouldn't feel like life-threatening. Okay? It shouldn't feel like that. When you expose yourself to something, it should feel like the scales are even. You've done your homework. You've done the unconscious learning. You've done the cognitive learning. And when you expose yourself to something that you are afraid of, it should feel like you are being guided. It should feel more gentle. Okay? If you're exposing yourself to your fears and it doesn't feel gentle, it doesn't feel 50-50 along that scale of threat and safety, then you haven't done your homework. You haven't done the unconscious learning. You haven't done the cognitive learning enough. Because all of this is evidence. Evidence for the subconscious mind, inner child, to say, hey, this is true now. What I used to believe about this is no longer true. This is true now. This right here, this is true. This new belief is true. This new reaction is true. Okay? So the world starts looking safer than it used to. The three aspects that we need to focus on. Number one, unconscious learning. We talked about that. Okay? Cognitive learning, as well as paying attention to what your body's doing, what vocabulary you're using, okay, and what behavioral application you are applying to your day. This is kind of a very good and very powerful structure, my friends. And if you follow this structure for a few weeks, it will become habitual. You're going, my God, every day I'm doing that one meditation, or every day I'm doing that one reframing practice. This is great. At 10:30 in the morning, this is the time for this. And then for cognitive learning around 3 p.m., I am reading this book and I am studying this book, which applies directly to what it is I'm going through. Fantastic. And as I'm going through the day, I am applying the body language, the vocabulary, these things that I need to apply to become who I want to become. If you do this, you will change. If you do this for a set period of time, healing is inevitable. Inevitable. You don't have a choice. You will feel better. You will get better. I promise you. In every aspect. Mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, you name it. But don't random your healing. Don't try this and try that. Okay? Really have a structure in place until you get to a point where you feel like, you know what? I don't need this structure anymore. I feel better, and I'm going to move my life into the next chapter. I want to leave you with this. Progress isn't always visible. So be gentle on yourself and keep going. Progress isn't always visible. But deep down, there's a part of you that speaks and says, you are making progress. And I need you to start listening more to that part of you because it's happening. You are here. You are applying. You are understanding. So take the messages from today and walk with them, my friends. Remember that you are more than anxiety. Don't ever forget it. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. And if you are enjoying this podcast, please give it a positive rate and review and share it with somebody or a group today that needs it. Bye-bye.
The most powerful anxiety guidebooks on true anxiety recovery are now available on Amazon. Pick up Beyond Anxiety and F Coping, Start Healing, and supercharge your healing journey today. Also visit www.theanxietyguy.com to connect with Dennis and find the right online program for you. Remember, you are more than anxiety. See you in the next podcast episode.